Before we get into the video, make sure you guys like, subscribe if you're new. I mean, come on, what are you doing if you're not subbed to me by now? My content is fire, from Transformers reviews to stunt motions to leaked news videos, what have you. And my Instagram and TikTok are all linked down below. And, yeah, let's get straight to it. Okay, so today in this video, I just want to talk about some of the stuff from the Prime vs. Prime Ironhide review, the comparisons he made, and the transformation. I just want to run through those things and sort of, talk about whether or not if this changes anything in terms of the way I view this figure, which, if for those of you that don't know, I think this is a great toy. It's the best Ironhide Transformer we've had, but I'm still skeptical on whether or not it is actually worth the bump to the Voyager price point. But, yeah, and I'll be talking about a video, or I'll be doing a little clip with Prime vs. Prime's transformation, and I'll be talking about it later on in the video. But let's talk about some comparisons he made. Here he is with Earthrise Ironhide, and as you can see, he's a little shorter, like Prime vs. Prime stated a couple weeks back. And it's like, to me, it's night and day. There's obviously still a few little issues with this Ironhide figure, the new one. The lower legs being a bit too chunky because of the hinges there, and him being just a tad bit stubby. I mean, his arms are almost down to his knees, so that's a bit weird looking, but not terrible. But I mean, the chest is filled in on the new Studio Series 1. The chest on that one is hollow, and you could see right through it. The details are way more accurate to how he appeared in the film. The head sculpt is better. I mean, look at how derpy the Earthrise one looks compared to this one. And I still don't think that this one is the greatest Ironhide head sculpt. I think it's off a little bit, especially in terms of certain lighting. His lips look like he's puckering, or like he's doing some duck lips, like he's about to take a Snapchat picture or something. But he looked cool. He definitely way better than the Earthrise version when you see these two side by side. And who else do I want to talk? Here he is with. I want to do the. Here's the group shot. Okay, and he looks really good with all the new updates. I'm curious to see how he looks with the Origins Bumblebee, because that one, in terms of robot mode, when you take the kibble off, is the definitive G1 cartoon accurate Bumblebee. What I do is I use the Earthrise Bumblebee Volkswagen. I put that in vehicle mode, and then I display the Origins Bumblebee in robot mode, because I just think that's perfect. But Netflix Bumblebee there is alright. He looks great with Jazz and Hot Rod and Optimus and RC. That Sideswipe is still trash, so I'm not even going to acknowledge that he even looks remotely good with him. But he looks great with everybody else. Yeah, no complaints here. He's still taller than Hot Rod, which I have a separate one here. You see, he's like a smidge taller. And once again, the deluxe, these are two deluxes at Voyager prices, and looking at the two, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like a give and take. This is the best Ironhide we've gotten, yet he still falls short because he's bumped up to the Voyager price point. I mean, he's lacking accessories, he's lacking the finger articulation and extra articulation in general. The crotch piece is one piece. I mean, when you go to move the legs up, you have to flip up the whole freaking crotch piece. There's two things they could have did with that. They could have either made it 3 separate pieces, so the middle crotch piece doesn't have to go up, like it's some happy time during battle. This is not happy time, this is battle time. Or they could have just molded the details into the legs and left out that whole separate piece there. They could have just left it out, and I think people would have been fine with it if the detail was still sculpted into his his um his crotch section and the sides of the thighs. But whatever, I guess. And the elbow bend isn't as deep. He doesn't have butterfly joint. I'd say the only like extra Voyager type articulation that we're getting here is the amount of head movement he has and the amount the feet move, because the feet move up and down and then they move side to side, which really helps for running poses and a lot more dynamic action poses and stuff for those of you who do stop motions and toy photography like myself. Here's with Redgar, a more standard Voyager class. This, I mean, the size difference is obvious. I mean, it's Ironhide and Redgar, so they're not going to be the same height. It's just interesting to see, where the budget went, and I think it got ate up by the transformation, to be honest with you. But it's so strange. Like Hot Rod's transformation is just as complex, or maybe even more. Because then he has the shades flipping out, and then he has the weapons on that flip out around his hands and stuff. It's just, I don't know. And here he is with doing the transformation here. I'm just going to talk about, the transformation while he's doing it. And, this is a complex transformation. This is really impressive. I didn't think it was going to be this complex. I mean, just judging by the photos we got last week before this review was even uploaded, the way those hinges flip out, oh my god, the satisfaction, it makes me want to freaking sweat uncontrollably. Oh yes, this transformation is so smooth and clean, boy. I just geeked out there, but yeah, man, the transformation is really good, man. Skipping along here, the way the midsection comes apart. The thing here with the legs, that is the coolest part about this transformation. The way the feet are the back of the van. It's something Earthrise fell flat on its feet, because that was one of the more infamous things with that mold, is that you had the feet just hanging out of the back, and it looked horrible. It looked like space shuttle thrusters in the back of the van mode. It just looked horrible. Like, just look at that, man. They totally solved that problem. And the way it just folds all together to form the robot feet, that is just so cool to me. Brad doing a crunch up pose for to go to car mode. That's so funny to me. But man, and then the final outcome of this is just like, look at that. Let me pause it. It's just like, the back is unpainted, but I think they wanted to avoid doing that because I think it would look weird, with the clear plastic, and then the back would be painted baby blue or whatever color they would go with. But this looks great, man. Like, right away, the improvements are there. Like, the yellow stripe is missing. It's got those ugly hinges, and it's got those clear blue tabs there for the inevitable ratchet remold. Those are some glaring issues, but when you compare it to the Earthrise mold, it is night and day, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still skeptical on this. I still am. I'm going back and forth, I just want to see more with this figure in terms of the accessories. Like, it just feels like I don't know. I don't want to judge. I don't want to speak on something that I don't know about. But in terms of these clear plastic tabs, I don't know why they couldn't have just left it off this Ironhide and put those tabs on the light bar for Ratchet instead of just leaving them on Ironhide. it's a real big eyesore. You know, they're not painted red; they're just clear blue plastic. Um, Most people are probably just gonna cut it off with an X-Acto knife if you're feeling handy. That's probably what I'm gonna do if I get this guy. And another big improvement is the wheels. You know, the wheels on the Earthrise one, they reused the Cybertronian wheels from the Siege Ironhide, which is unexcusably bad. That was so dumb, just cutting corners with that. But here we have regular Earth wheels that look real and natural to what we would see back in the 80s with one of these things, and it looks great. They're not pinned in. I know that would piss a lot of people off. Doesn't piss me off because I'm not one to roll my toys around like I'm some 10-year-old, but uh you know, and with the pins you lose that sort of realistic feel with the wheels because then you have a giant pin in the middle. But with this, you get the full sculpt of the wheel. So, not a big loss for me. Um, you know, it can still roll with stop motions. Not a big deal. I have heard that pins are more effective with rolling than mushroom pegs, but I don't know how true that is. But yeah, man, this Ironhide figure is spectacular, easily the best, and I just might pick this up when the opportunity arises to do so. Now, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of this. If you were a denier before, has this review changed your mind? And if you were always a fan of this guy when we first saw the images a couple weeks back, what did this review bring new to your thoughts on this figure? And yeah, see you later.
Congratulations, you have made it to the end of this video.